You know, the best part about waking up every morning when you're going to lift is when it's saying it feels like negative 13, 16 degrees outside and you don't have a jacket or a hoodie. So you gotta walk out in this and it's just freezing. Everywhere I go, it's freezing. My car's freezing. Everything's freezing. But that's not enough for me not to go to the gym. How are you doing today? How's it going? Today is chest and triceps day with a little bit of shoulders. I think I can get back into more triceps training. More heavier movements. So but I'm going to still go relatively lighter than what I normally did. So, you know, we're almost fully back to it, but not fully yet. I'm going to give it like another 1 or 2 more chest and triceps days for really to push myself on it. But then after that, it's full force ahead. But, so today, it's going to be, you know, some dumbbell benching, inclining, you know, whatnot, flies, all the good stuff, you know, lateral raises, probably some shoulder press, some rear delt stuff. Triceps will be some easy bar push down, some one arm stuff, some overhead stuff. So it's all just going to be the same regular stuff. But, oh crap, I gotta go back. Well, I forgot my tripod. Gosh dang it, dude. That actually, you know, it's okay. I just gotta go back. It's just a quick turnaround stuff. And I guess I can get my car warm while I'm going back and stuff. But, because I saw my other tripod on the ground, but my other tripod broke, so I had to get a new tripod and everything else. So it's just been a lot of fun doing a whole bunch of stuff. But news, I got a new job. I got a job interview tomorrow, and I hope it goes very, very well. I'm hoping for this job. I really want this job. I do not want my current job. It blows. As some may say. But but, you know, other than that, same old, you know, nothing new. Except I can't wait for it to be warm out again. Because the worst thing about, like, the cold is with training is you have to warm up a little extra long. Because if you're going into training and you're cold, that's bad for your body. That's why, like, you see athletes out in the cold, they do a bunch of warm-ups and stuff before, like, the game starts. Oh, a little icy. But, you know, it just takes a little bit more time to warm up, which isn't anything horrible. It's just like, okay, let's just warm up a little extra with our bones. And that's actually probably what you need to do normally anyways, because, I mean, I know a lot of people don't warm up at all. All they do is just get into their movements and they do warm-up sets. But people need to warm up, like, get on the cables, get a resistance band. I always say warm up your upper back, your lats, your rear delts, your triceps. You know, it really depends on what you're doing. Like, if you're doing chest day, I always say warm up your rear delts with your shoulders, and then, like, your rotator cuff, and then your triceps and your chest, you know. But if you're doing, like, back, you know, warm up your biceps, lats, you know, shoulders, everything else, you know. So it just really depends on what you're training and how much more you're targeting different muscle groups to warm up. Because at the end of the day, you still need to warm up, right? Leg day, you just need to warm up your shoulders a little bit, and then your legs and, like, and your lower back. That's, like, one of the main things I warm up when I'm doing leg day is my lower back, because I always have lower back issues. For some reason, there's always something wrong. That's why for a while, like, RDOs and, like, I've been doing a lot more lower back extensions in the past, because I've been really just trying to strengthen my lower back and get less injuries. That's mainly the only reason why I was training it. And obviously, if you have a sicker looking lower back, that's going to add to your physique. And I can definitely tell, like, my lower back has definitely added to my back entirely, you know. But, you know, the one thing I will always say is you might as well just train every muscle group, right? I will say, if you're a bodybuilder and you're trying to get that V taper and stuff and all that, and out on that like X look, that X frame, don't train your obliques. That's one thing I will say not train. And the unnecessary ones for a bodybuilder especially, like your neck, other than like shrugs for your upper traps, but like your neck, it's not really necessary. So, you know, if you don't want to train your neck, that's fine. But I would say, like your calves, your forearms, those muscle groups, train those. Even though they're smaller muscle groups, I think they're just as important, because that's what, I think his name was Frank Zane. He was always like the most super aesthetic bodybuilder. He was really short, but he got told by one of his training partners to train his like forearms in the smaller muscle groups, because that balances out everything else. And that's so true. That's so true. But 1 second, I'll talk to you guys here in a second. All right, we got the tripod. It has a flashlight on top too. It's really nice. I got it for $12 at Beals, not Bells, Beals. It's an inside joke you wouldn't get. But so back what I was saying, like a lot of the smaller muscle groups, like your forearms, abs aren't a small muscle group, but we'll consider it there, and like calves and shoulders and stuff. Those are definitely genetic. Like all your muscles are genetic, right? All of them, like how they look and stuff is genetics, right? So if you want long biceps, so you have short biceps, well, you're stuck with that. Sorry to say that, but vice versa. If you want short biceps, but you have long biceps, you're stuck with it too. So, but that's not to say you can't make things look better. So with your physique, and that's the thing. Let's say you're a guy who has amazing arms, but your forearms look horrible, versus a guy who, you know, doesn't have as good biceps or triceps as you, but has a more complete looking arm because he trains forearms. Well, his arm is probably going to look 10 times better than yours, because it's going to look big, you know, good size, good size, good size, good size, good size. Well, yours is going to be big, 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 small. And that just looks kind of weird. You want a balanced physique. That's like a thing that a lot of guys are going afterwards is, well, for one, you want to be big, but you also want to be symmetrical and balanced, right? Because if you, it's like the guys that have those really big upper bodies but no lower bodies, that guy gets made fun of, right? Because his physique is so imbalanced. Same with, you know, training forearms, biceps, and everything else. If you have something that's way lacking in the others, that's very noticeable, that's going to pop out in your physique. And not in a good way where it's like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. No, that's going to be a bad thing. You don't want an imbalanced physique. So that's why Frank Zane always said, I want to look bigger, but like all these muscle groups are looking pretty good. I don't know what I need. And the guy said train your forearms, calves, and your shoulders and abs more, right? Because they're the smaller muscle groups. But if you get those small muscle groups huge, I mean, they just make your physique look 10 times better. Like a good example for forearms would be like Raymond Dino and Mike Mincer. Both those guys, if they didn't have the mass on their forearms like they did, well, their physiques wouldn't be as good looking, in my opinion, right? Those smaller muscle groups like that really complete a physique. Like when I see a guy who has huge quads but like weird, like kind of small calves compared to his quads, it kind of just like ruins his legs, honestly. Like, and then if you have a guy who, you know, has the huge calves and huge quads, that just looks awesome on the physique. You know what I'm saying? So you need to have balanced proportions. And I know it's hard for like calves, because even my quads are not a lot bigger, but bigger than my calves are. But I have okay genetics for my calves, right? But I know some guys, like there's a couple IFBB pros who do like it's not like C-Bum's division, the weight division, but it's a tier below. It's like 208 or whatever, I'm pretty sure. And there's one guy in specific, he's a really short black guy, but he's a bald guy, I forget his name, but he has crazy quad insertions and everything. But I'm pretty sure his calves just look kind of bad. But then you have that one guy, that Neckzilla or Quadzilla guy with the huge kind of legs and calves and everything. And then it gets to a certain point, because also it's like I said, a lot of it's genetics. So like, my opinion, his physique, even though he has huge everything, he has short arms compared to his long torso and everything. So it's very, for one, You might love that guy's physique, right? It's all subjective. Bodybuilding is super subjective. That's why it's, that's why you can't take my advice for everything. But I will say, you should probably take my advice in saying you should train everything if you can, right? Besides the muscle groups that are actually going to make you look worse. And that can include maybe something that's too big, right? Like if you're training your biceps, but you're like, you always get a super good pump on them and everything, and they're fun to train for you, but your biceps and arms just take over your physique, and let's say you are going for bodybuilding, you probably should slow down on that. But if you're a guy who just trains, you might as well just train it, man. Big biceps the better, I'd say, But a guy like James English, I mentioned in the past, he doesn't train biceps because of his bodybuilding career, and it would look bad on him if he trained biceps. Like, that's a great problem to have. That's a problem that every dude wants to have, is you can't train arms because they'd be too big. That'd be awesome. But like I said, all of it's subjective. So if you love the big bicep look and the small shoulder look or whatever, the small forearm look, go ahead. Don't be against whatever you like, man. It's all subjective, If it's gonna make you like the way you look better, then go right ahead, man. Do you. But I will say, just be smart, right? If you have goals in a certain category where you need to not do something, I would probably not do that, right? But other than that, my back really itches. My lower back really itches. So I'm going to itch that, and I'm going to see you guys at the gym. All right, first movement we got is going to be hitting the middle pectoral, along with some triceps and a little bit of front delts. But mainly we're just going to be trying to contract and going in the middle of our chest by getting the dumbbells almost touching, and then getting a deep stretch at the bottom, just pushing past failure. And like I said, just going as much as we can and as far as we can. This was the second set. Now we're going to be working in the upper pec. Now we're just mainly going to be just getting our elbows in our midline, which is kind of just like the middle of our chest. So the best way you could do it is try to touch your elbows together, but rather just your hands. But just make sure you go as far up as you can comfortably without feeling your front delts too much, and just feeling that whole upper chest. And the best way to do this, if you're especially a beginner, get someone to touch the top of your chest while you're doing this, so you know what you're trying to activate. But just have a foot forward so you have better stability, and keep your chest high. And then after a little bit, doing, like 6, 7, 8 reps, kind of bang them out to failure. And since we did a flat chest movement, now we're going to be doing a pressing incline movement just for the upper pec, and also hit triceps and also the front delts. You're going to feel your front delts a little bit more on this one than you would a flat, because you're inclined and that's more shoulder activated. But you should just still feel mainly your upper chest. But we're just really going to be getting a good squeeze at the top and get a good stretch at the bottom. So have the bar close to your collarbone as you can. Now we're going to be hitting the side delt. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be training moderately heavy for this. So we're going to go 5 reps for the left arm, and then 5 reps for the right arm, and then just keep banging that out till we hit around 15 to 20 reps. And as you'll see, we're going to be going, at the end reps mainly, you're going to be kind of slouched over a little bit. And you're going to be hitting a little bit more traps when you do it, but you should still majorly feel your side delt when you do this. Now we're going to be targeting the rear delts, but you're also going to be hitting the traps when you do this as well. but mainly just kind of go moderately heavy with these and bang them out. And make sure instead of just going out and up, you go out and backwards. Okay. Now we're going to mainly be hitting the lateral head of the tricep, and we're going to just be going light and squeezing on this one, because rope, you have to go a little lighter on it anyways for the best activation. But also I'm still recovering from my injury, so I didn't want to go too heavy and do too many movements. So I just did 3 sets and then 1 set of an overhead extension. What's up? What's up? We're done. We're out of there. Pump today was meh, so I don't think you guys will see the pump video. It's like I can't even really call it a pump video if there's not really a pump, because I mean it wasn't like I had an okay a pump, but not the pump. You know, I like everyone when they get like these crazy pictures is always super pumped up, and I'm just not. I just got to figure out like what I can do to like better my pumps, because they're just like, some of them just are not there and super flat. So if you have any recommendations about like a soup, like a snack you guys eat right before the gym or something, or just something that gives me a crazy pump that's not drug related, because I know you could take like, I think it's like Anadrol or something. I forget. It's something for like, I think it's like dick pills, like ED pills, and people use it for pumps, which is kind of crazy, because I'm thinking like, okay, what if I take that once, I'm like, I love it, and I'm like, okay, let me take it again next week, and I'm like, okay, let me take it again next week, and then let me take it, a couple times throughout the week, every week. I'm gonna start probably getting some ED. So it's like the risk to reward ratio is, if you care all about the pump, sure, be my guest, get ED, self-medicated ED. But personally, I do not want to get that. But also, my view, I was driving and I listened to a song. It was perfect. It was like a really chill song on my way up here, and I was just looking around at all the trees and the snow and stuff. It's just a cool environment, man. It really is. Like, I pass this dang near every day, and I'd never realized how cool and beautiful it is. Like the scenery of like just traveling to the gym. It's just awesome sometimes to look at stuff like that. That's one thing that definitely, like, I'm gonna teach my future kid, is just take time and stop and look at things real quick. Like if you're in your traditional, drive, right, but you never really look around like what you're driving by, like you'll miss things. Like even if it's like the trees, sometimes they just look super cool. Put on a certain song, dog, bro, that's a cool ass scenery. That's like a video game right there. Real talk. But yeah, man, other than that, we're all good, we're all good in the hood. Yeah, overall, I just can't complain about anything. Life is kind of going a good path, so I'm happy right now, and there's not much more I can say about that. So I'll catch y'all later. Goodbye.